Hi, welcome back to MWT. Today we're talking about a very interesting subject that a lot of us do not talk about, but we all have had some experience with it. Welcome back to Emanuel from NUEVA Vida Pulse Massage and Acupuncture. So, according to the NHS, 50% of men between the age of 50 and 70 will suffer from erectile dysfunction at some point in their lives. The British Society for Sexual Health states that testosterone falls by 1% per year in men after the age of 30. According to the Men's Health Forum, mental health and stress are major contributors to men's erectile dysfunction. And according to a study by Harvard University, erectile dysfunction is a precursor, or rather warning, of a pending cardiovascular health issue. So, why are we suffering from erectile dysfunction, and what are some of the ways and treatments that we can use and improve our libido in general without causing too much damage to ourselves? So, Emanuel.
Hi there.
I think a lot of the problems that men are facing with ED is essentially both mental and physiological.
Yes.
Am I right? I mean, from my own experience, I have suffered from performance anxiety.
Yeah.
I think, most guys, if you've been sexually active since your 20s, you would have had it at some point in your life. But I mean, from your experience, apart from things like performance anxiety, which obviously is one of the most common things that we've been saying that to most people, they probably don't recognize it for what it is. What are some of the other things you've come across that's causing these in guys from your experience?
As you mentioned, it's a combination of things. So, psychological aspect, just being nervous. First time you're going to get intimate with somebody, and the nerves kick in, and the scripted movie that you have in your head, it doesn't go that way. So that can cause anxiety in itself. Just anxiety, having stress around the whole situation. There's also, the wider conversation around how men have been looked at over the last, say, 10, 15 years, different movements that are coming where some men are actually now maybe even more scared to approach, and then some kind of worry about the situation and affect performance or even affect the ability to start. You mentioned erectile dysfunction, so there's the difference between, say, for example, impotence and low libido is the impotence, you have the desire, but you physically are unable to create an erection. Right. Whereas low libido it's gone. The fire is out. It's not even smouldering, it's completely out. So you lack the desire. So the treatment principles would be slightly different. Performance anxiety, being stressed in the situation. There's been a lot of movements over the last few years where men have felt like they are targeted and they can't approach people, they can't approach women and so forth. So this causes a level of anxiety. We've also got the way that we work as well. We're very hyper-focused on work these days, and oftentimes within the last few years, especially the last 5 years especially, a lot of changes have happened which have built up a lot of stress in people. Stress causes people to your cortisol levels to rise, and cortisol itself suppresses testosterone, and when your testosterone is being suppressed, that will affect your libido. The other issues are things like obesity. If you've got a little bit too much extra bit around the gut, that could be a sign that your testosterone is getting low. So there's all these different factors that can be involved in causing people to have these effects from a physiological and a psychological point of view. Okay.
Now, this is a slightly... What about things like what you're eating? Can alcohol also cause erectile dysfunction? Or if you're not being able to get an erection and maintain the erection?
This is one of those things that maybe we've all been through this, or maybe we haven't, where you've had just a little bit too much to drink, and at that time you just can't perform. It just won't work because you just had way too much over a long period of time. Yes, this will affect your testosterone levels and potentially affect your libido. Same applies for recreational drugs and stuff, and also some medical drugs as well. They can also affect your performance. Alcohol definitely a factor. Foods as well. I mentioned obesity, if you're eating too many ultra-processed foods, stuff like that that's not providing you any kind of nutrients, then the lack of nutrients will affect your performance. Going back to the Chinese medicine perspective on it, it's going to affect your digestion, your spleen qi, which is going to, then if you're not digesting the food properly, that means you're not getting enough nutrients. If you're not getting enough nutrients, then this is not going to go to your blood, and your blood won't flow the way it should do, and therefore, and as we all know, to create an erection, you need blood flow. You need the good blood flow to help you to rise to the occasion, as it were. Yeah, your consumption of water, electrolytes, good salts and stuff like this as well to help everything move.
For me, it's very important that we cover a lot on what are the causes, because there's a lot of things we do in our lives where we almost do it, we either take it for granted or we do it by default.
Yes.
But there's something you mentioned there that I want to go back and touch upon, and it would be very good if you could share any examples. When you spoke about medication having an impact, because someone might be taking medication for a different medical condition, and that could have an adverse effect.
I've heard, anecdotally, so don't quote me on this, I've heard sometimes things like sometimes some blood pressure medication affect it, maybe some of the blood thinners, stuff like statins and stuff may have negative effects. Most people are not aware of the side effects of these different drugs because it's not readily given to them. And because of the nature of the topic we're discussing, people might not go and seek advice about that because they may feel shame. You might feel shame. A lot of us do tie our masculinity to our sexuality, and when we start to lose that, it does cause a huge psychological problem for us, and seeking help or speaking to someone about it can feel like you're cheapening or weakening yourself.
Now, the other thing also is the fact that we've assumed that when you get to a certain age, you're naturally, obviously, not able to perform as well as you can do. And most of men or most guys will give up at that point, even trying to seek treatment or trying to find anything to remedy that at all. I'm then now going to connect that to acupuncture. So obviously you're a very highly qualified acupuncture practitioner. Is there science available to prove that acupuncture actually can help?
Yeah, there is.
Right.
But the World Health Organization does recommend acupuncture for erectile dysfunction. It's by some of the governing bodies I'm with and so forth. They also recommend it. The reason being is because from the traditional Chinese medicine perspective, it's not necessarily everything's over when you start getting to a certain age. Things start to slow down and things start to get blocked. Where you might think you're getting too old and so you just give up, acupuncture will help you because it will revitalize certain areas by clearing certain blockages that are within you. So you can reverse this by using acupuncture, by eating the right kind of food, by getting exercise. Exercise helps to boost your testosterone and reducing your stress levels. And most people, as they do get older, the stress does tend to increase for them because you've got life pressures, and the life pressures grow as you get older. So stress is a major factor, and acupuncture is a master at reducing stress levels, and just by that, reducing the stress will boost your testosterone. So
according to the Men's Health Forum, mental health and stress are major contributors to erectile dysfunction.
I agree.
How can acupuncture help with mental health?
Well, so Western medicine has a very clear separation between the physical, the emotional, the psychological, and so forth. So if you have a physical problem, you go see a doctor. If you have a psychological problem, you go and see a psychiatrist or psychologist. Whereas with Chinese medicine, there is no separation between a physical ailment and a mental ailment. So if there's something happening in a part of your body, there is always a mental component going with it as well. So you're treating, I think as we mentioned in the very first, the first time we spoke about the whole root and branch approach.
Right.
Where you're not just treating the specific symptom, you're looking at the whole person and you're treating the symptoms as well as what causes it. So if it is some kind of anxiety, depression, maybe even past trauma. But here's an example for you. So in erectile dysfunction, one of the major organ systems that's involved in it in Chinese medicine would be your kidney system. The kidney runs from the sole of your foot and it runs up the inside of your leg around your genital area. Wow. Yeah, around your genital area, finishes around your ribs. Kidneys are associated with fear. If you're quite fearful, then this could affect you. So oftentimes people with erectile dysfunction as well, they may have lower back pain. This is an area in Chinese called the Ming Men, which is the lower back, which is also called the gate of life. So this is where your vitality comes from, your initial essence, your kidney jing. So by working on these areas as well, clearing that blockages, increasing the jing and mainly the kidney yang, which is your fire energy, increasing that can help with these things as well. But yes, there is always, pretty much with every condition, there's always some kind of psychological component to it.
How do we go about encouraging men to actually try this rather than go and for the conventional blue pill? And it's now coming to light that there are side effects to that, right?
Yeah.
So, and obviously from what I'm hearing, acupuncture has very little side effects. It's natural. It's actually using your body to heal your body.
Yes. The allopathic medicine we use now, what we call conventional medicine, has only really been around for maybe the last 100 years or so. Other forms of holistic medicine have been around for thousands of years. Whenever you take some kind of medication, there is usually some kind of side effect, no matter how mild it could be. I think oftentimes, I mentioned to you before in one of the first episodes, is like that people often come to see us at the end when they've tried everything else. So they've been through all the different Western medicine things, they've had the side effects and so forth. I think one of the biggest things that pushes people away from it is obviously the fear of needles, which, as I've said before, is understandable. My best clients are the non-believers. Someone who doesn't believe what you do is not going to be deceived by the placebo effect and so forth. Once they've had a treatment, I've had people turn around to me and say things like, I don't necessarily believe it worked, but I do feel a lot better and I do feel different. Understanding where our families come from, there's a religious component to why people don't want to try those things. Yeah. They feel that there might be some kind of evil towards it or something like that. Yeah. So they'll stick to the Western medicine that has been brought to them in a similar way that the religion may have been brought to them as well. What's
the highest, the biggest buzz you've had? As you said, a skeptic has come in and you've treated them and like.
I mean, for me, the most satisfying experience is actually making someone feel better.
What's the biggest or the most complicated patient you had and you made a difference?
It ranges from so many different things. Like I've dealt with people, both men and women, with low libido, low sex drive, and helped them. I've dealt with women who've had extremely long period cycles that are well over 28 days. One was 45 days. I managed to bring that down to like 36 days, and over time we managed to get her cycle back to working in line with the moon and so forth.
Does that work? How do you do that? How do you reduce the cycle?
So you want to get it back within that 28-day cycle. So you literally, the treatment protocol, there are different treatments you use throughout the 4 weeks of that 28 days. So you're just trying to get everything back in line. Actually, I've got another one. It's like recently had a client with motor neuron disease. So he got a lot of restrictions and a lot of muscle weakness and so forth. This time I was using cupping rather than the needles.
Right.
Put the cups on, then got him to move his own arm, and we were going a lot further without any pain, and the smile on his face made my day. Little things like that, little wins like that is just beautiful, because you're just having a positive effect on someone's life, and I believe that is the reason why I do this.
I'm surprised acupuncture treatment for this sort of thing is not common, because when you look at the statistics, if the NHS are saying 50% of men between 40 and 70 years old, that's like,
I think we are getting better. I think things are growing. I think, especially over the last 5 years, I feel people's minds have opened up a lot more to holistic practices. I mean, here's a way to look at it. You already pay for the NHS. We pay for it indirectly through our taxes, but we do pay for it. It's not free. But there's a lot of people that will pay for private healthcare. We mentioned drinking, so people are willing to spend lots of money on all kinds of stuff on a weekend. But are they willing to put the same kind of money into their health, into their body? People are willing to spend a lot of money on their clothes and their cars. Are they willing to put the same amount of money into their body, for their health, for the thing that is with you permanently for every day of your life until the day you die? It's a shift in how you think about your health and how much you think your health is worth. That's really what I would say. Acupuncture is very well recognised for the musculoskeletal side of things. It's getting more traction in other places, because it's not just for that. It is for your health. There are texts that go back thousands of years, how the thing presents, and then treating the person as opposed to finding a name of a disease and then putting some kind of drug to deal with the symptoms.
There's erectile dysfunction and sexual health in general in men. It is something that Men's World Today takes very seriously, because as a man, being able to be sexually active is one of the key definers of masculinity. When these things are happening, we have to get into the habit of talking to our partners about it and seeking treatment as a couple.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
say for example it is a stress issue or something like that, and then you're compounding it and making it worse by not speaking about it.
That's right.
Then you could have a release by talking about it.
That's
and
right.
then if the person responds to you well, then they could let go.
And I think, you know, if you're in a good, healthy relationship,
you could be in an unhealthy relationship, and this could be this could be part of the cause of it. That has happened to people before as well. Talking about men not wanting to talk about their erectile dysfunction, we also sometimes don't want to talk about any kind of ailment that's going on, any kind of ailment. And
this has been an interesting conversation, guys, and we hope you took something away from this. Like I was saying earlier, if you do want to try acupuncture, please get in touch with us, send us a message, and we'll put in touch with Emanuel at NUEVA VIDA. We hope you enjoyed the session. Emanuel, thank you so much for coming again.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully we can meet again next time.
Please do.
So guys, until next time, take care of yourselves.
Thank you very much.
And have a good day.